Hello, how would you like to make £1,000 or more profit from a simple buy-to-let property? That's right, £1,000 a month profit from a buy-to-let property. And here's the crazy bit, it doesn't actually matter if you own it or not. You can do this with your own properties or you can do it with other people's properties. But just think what a difference that would make to you, your family and your loved ones. Maybe you've already got a portfolio of 5, 10 properties. If that's the case, well done, my friend. But I'm willing to bet they're not making £1,000 profit per property per month. And I want to share with you a very, very simple system. The key is that it's a system, you need to learn it, but if you use that system, you can get these results on a repeatable basis. I'm going to give you a system, and that's the point, it's a system, a repeatable system to turn ordinary flats and houses, buy-to-let properties, into cash machines that give you a profit of £1,000 per month, or perhaps even more. It's going to take some of your time, but not much. If you use the systems that I'm going to share with you, you can make £1,000 per month from a simple flat or house profit with no more than 4 hours a week of your time. And that's a pretty good hourly rate. So even if you've got a large portfolio, I still want to work with you on just the first property. And that's what we're going to be doing through this video series. We're just going to be focusing on your very first cash machine, because once you've got one, you'll know it works and you'll want to do more. So if you'd like to make 5 times more income from your existing portfolio, or perhaps you'd like to build a monthly passive income from a property portfolio that you don't even own, then this video series is going to be a thrilling ride for you. So grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, get yourself a seat, and let's start work together. Hi, I'm Paul Smith. I'm the author of the best-selling book, The Service Accommodation Success Manual, and together with my wife Anniko, we've been running service departments now for years. We manage for other people through our management company, Diamond Service Departments. We manage 146 properties at the moment. So we manage our own and we provide management services for other people. We have shared the specific systems that we use to manage our own portfolio and other people's properties with thousands and thousands of completely normal, ordinary people, just like you and me. They've used those exact systems, and so many thousand people are now making £1,000 profit, £1,000 of extra cash flow from every property that they either own or manage for somebody else. Diamond Service Departments operates property all the way from Nairn in the very north of Scotland, right the way down to Bournemouth on the south coast of England. Why am I sharing that with you? Because I want to give you some figures that are probably going to surprise you, and I want to reassure you that this system works everywhere in the whole of the UK. So we're now on the 10th of June. On the 1st of June, so by the 1st of June, Diamond Service Accommodation already had £98,752 worth of bookings for the month of June, and that was on day 1 of June. Diamond turns over hundreds of thousands of pounds every single month. So that's great for us and it's great for our owners. But I want to share that system with you such that you can be one of the people that benefits from £1,000 of profit per month, every month, from a property that you either own or you don't. So this is one of the fantastic property strategies where you don't actually need property to make money out of property. How good is that? During the course of this video series, I'm going to show you how to take a normal flat or a house, typical buy-to-let, and turn it into a hands-free hotel using the proven systems that I keep talking about. What that's going to allow you to do is to enjoy the extra passive income, the extra cash, with no more than 4 hours a week of your time. And here's the great bit. In order to operate this business, you need a mobile phone, a smartphone, and you can now operate your hands-free hotel from anywhere in the world in just a few hours a week. During today's specific video, the first in the series, I'm going to be sharing with you your starting points so you can start on your footsteps on the journey towards that first extra £1,000 a month from your very first property. Where did Annika and myself get this whole idea, and why did we start doing serviced accommodation? That's what it's called, serviced accommodation. So you might want to make a note of that. Where do you get most of your bookings from? You get your bookings initially from the online travel agents, the OTAs, sites like booking.com and Airbnb. So where did the idea come from? How did we make a start in the world of service accommodation? Well, for many years I was a management consultant, and I would get temporary assignments with this company or that company. And probably around 10 years ago now, I got an assignment in London. And for months on end, I lived and worked in West London, and I would just come home at the weekends. And after a few weeks, I soon got fed up of this hotel, that hotel, the other hotel. I wanted somewhere more permanent, somewhere that I could leave my stuff. So I wanted to rent a flat or a house, but I couldn't do it by the night, by the week, or by the month. In London at that time, they wanted a minimum of 12-month AST, and they wanted deposits, and I would have to clean it myself, and I would have to organise the gas bills, and I would have to go onto the electoral register, and I would have to sort out the electric. There were so many things that I would have had to have done that I just didn't want to do. It completely put me off. So then I had an idea. I didn't know what they were called, but I was aware vaguely that you could get flats and houses by the week or by the month. I didn't know at that stage that they were called service accommodation. I thought they were called corporate lets, or just even short-term accommodation. So I don't know what you call it, but that is what I moved into. And what I call it service accommodation. That's the industry term for it. And it was a place called St Margaret's in Twickenham. It was a big old townhouse over 4 floors that had been turned into 6 or 7, I don't really know, 6 or 7 flats and bedsits. And the one that I had was a little studio apartment. It was only me most of the time. Annika would occasionally come down at the weekend instead of me going home some weekends. And it was lovely. It had everything I needed. Had a lovely bedroom area, had a lovely kitchen area, lovely sitting area, had a desk, had a printer, I had a washing machine, and I even had a little beautiful terrace where we could sit out, and have a couple of drinks in the evening, looking out over West London. It was nice. But I was paying more than £100 a night for that way back then. So this was thousands of pounds a month for a tiny little studio in St Margaret's, Twickenham. So just think about that. And one evening on that terrace, Annika and myself were just sat there adding up how much money, because we could see what the advertised night rates were for this property. I'm still in touch with this lady. She was called Ali, was her name. And so I've got her in my phone as Ali Landlady. And occasionally she would phone me to check that everything was okay, because I was in there for months. But I still remember to this day, occasionally I would get a phone call from Ali and I'd be like, Ali, is everything all right? Are you there? Because her 2-year-old had learned how to operate her phone. So I'd get these silent phone calls from her 2-year-old. So anyway, that's not really the point of what I'm talking about, but it brought memories back. So Annika and myself sat there and we worked out, blimey, she's making a fortune, an absolute fortune. She was making £10,000 plus per week from that house in St Margaret's, Twickenham. Now, and that's profit, by the way. We can understand that now, but we couldn't understand it then. £10,000 a month or more profit from £10,000 a week of turnover. We can easily do better than that now. This was just one property, and even in St Margaret's in Twickenham, that is easily enough money to go and buy houses with to this day. So this is a strategy that if you use it correctly, even in London, you can acquire property with it because the cash flow is so high. But we were really impressed by her business acumen and what she'd done. Now this is where it gets the crazy part, because we were already property investors. I've had investment property since the age of 23, so that's 30 years now. It didn't occur to me to do the same thing. I was just wildly impressed by what she was doing, and we talked about it. Roll on a couple of years, and in talking to someone at a networking event, I actually discovered that they did service accommodation. Where did they do service accommodation? In Middlesbrough. Aniko and myself went on a couple of days to Middlesbrough, spent time with this guy, Justin, his name is, and he showed us how he was making great money from a converted church. And now the penny dropped. Now the penny dropped. I wanted to do it. Aniko wasn't so keen. She thought it was a bit of a distraction, and she had other ideas. But I was determined to get my first service accommodation unit up and running. Aniko wasn't having it. She thought it was a waste of time, a waste of energy. She thought we shouldn't do it. But we had a number of buy-to-lets, and one of them came empty. And I thought, well, okay, I'm gonna push now. Now, I don't know about your dad, but my dad would never refuse to do the washing up. He would just, if Mum said do the washing up, he would go over to the sink and he would start breaking things. So my dad taught me the way to get something done for you is to do it badly yourself, and then one of your loved ones will come and take over and do it, okay? So on holiday one year, I'm going back a few years now, with one of my sons, I started to set up a booking.com account. And Aniko watched what I was doing, could see I was making a complete hash of it, said, get out of the way, I'm gonna do it. So thank you, Dad. My dad, through the learning at a very young age, got me started on how to get Aniko to do things that I didn't want to do. Because I didn't want to set up the systems, I just wanted the money. So I got permission to get a 1-bedroom flat. I got agreement from Aniko, and to this day she would tell you the reason that she let me do it was just to prove that it wouldn't work. Okay, so quite ironic really, isn't it? So the reason that Aniko supported me was she was convinced it wasn't going to work, but I'd get it out of my system. So this was a 4th-storey tenement flat, a £50,000 flat in Dumbarton, no lift, didn't have any central heating, just had electric heating. So it wasn't some palace that we were letting out. We got it on booking.com. She tortured me by making me furnish it myself from second-hand shops. So we spent nothing. We spent, £200-300 setting this place up, because I did all the work, drilling, putting shelves up, moving stuff about physically. She was punishing me. She made me carry sofa beds up the stairs, 4 stories on my own, just to prove that it wouldn't work and teach me a good lesson that it was going to be a load of hard physical work, and the financial results would be appalling. Anyway, we got it set up. And a flat that used to give us a cash flow of £125 per month as a single let, because it's only a little £50,000 flat, so the rent was £375 by the time we'd paid our, and that's per month, everybody, not per week or anything. By the time we'd paid our mortgage, paid the letting agent, made some allowances for voids and stuff, we made a pitiful £125 a month. The very first month in operation, £750 profit. Second month in operation, £1,200 profit. Aniko was now convinced, and the journey could begin in earnest. And over the years, in that one street in a small Scottish commuter town called Dumbarton, which has got a population, I think, of about 18,000 people, we put 10 service accommodation units in one street. 10! So, I don't want you to put 10 units in one street. I don't want you to do 100. I want you to work with me now, today, to get your first service accommodation unit up and running, just one, just to prove to you that it works. Because like me, you've probably got an Aniko in your life who's absolutely wonderful and lovely, but someone in your life is probably going to want you to prove that this works before you turn it into a big business. So let's just work on getting your first service accommodation live as soon as possible. Okay, you ready? Pens out, paper, let's go. I'm going to give you 3 top tips for service. The first of those is business travel ready. The second is pets, and the third is meet and greet. So let's deal with number 1 first. Business travel ready. Well, if you want the full details on business travel ready, you need to go to Airbnb. Now, I'm not saying just use Airbnb, I'm saying use the list of requirements to be business travel ready as a template for the services that you have to offer. So just to explain what business travel ready is, getting on for 2 years ago now, Airbnb introduced a new category for their properties called business travel ready, because they wanted to assure travellers from businesses that there would be a certain minimum standard that the property that they would go to would adhere to. And they really are minimum standards. But if you can make sure that your property has got the entire list of Airbnb business travel ready requirements, now where do you get that from? Just go to Airbnb as a host, you have to set up a host account, and then within the host account you can see business travel ready requirements. So what sorts of things do you have to be business travel ready? Some of these shocked me because the idea that someone wouldn't provide these was just almost incredible. So the first one, check this one out. Hangers. Are you serious? Hangers for clothes. Many people go to a serviced apartment and there's a wardrobe or a cupboard or something, but it's got no hangers in it. How irritating is that? What are the chances you're going to get a rubbish review if you've got a big house with 4 or 5 bedrooms or whatever it is, and you've got wardrobes but no hangers? So really, really obvious and basic things. Now for me that was quite shocking, but the fact that Airbnb decided they needed to write about it meant to me that there must be a significant percentage of service accommodation operators that don't provide hangers. That's nuts. So make sure you've got hangers. That's number one. Number two, I still find it hard to believe that people wouldn't do this because it's important to such a big percentage of the population. A hairdryer. Please make sure you've got a hairdryer. Now I'm not going to go through the whole list, but I'm just giving you some examples of what you need to be business travel ready. Third one, you could argue, well, yeah, that kind of makes sense. If you're going to be business travel ready, you have to assure, you have to guarantee, you have to promise the guests that you've got a comfortable workstation, a desk. So a business person is going to need a desk quite often. And I would also go further than that, and I would offer things like, some stationery, just some paper, having a Wi-Fi printer so they can print stuff, because people don't carry printers around in their suitcases. So there's some sensible things you probably want to offer, but as a start point, go to Airbnb's business travel ready and make sure you go through the list and make sure you've got it all there for everybody. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is pets. Think about, are you going to allow people to bring their dogs? Now, when I ask this question in live training classes, probably only say I'm training a 2-day course, say I'm training 30 people. And I say to everybody, okay, you need to think about your services, just like I'm talking to you now. And I say, show me your hand, raise your hand if you're gonna allow dogs in your property. And I promise you, 80 to 90% of those people say, oh no, we're not having a dirty old smelly dog in our property. And about 10% of the people say, absolutely, I take my dog everywhere with me. I don't travel without my dog. Now, I'm not saying let the dog in free, and I'm not saying that every property is suitable for a dog. This is our house, this is where we live. So let's say we were letting this property out to a family. And that's an 8-bedroom house, so that's a big house. But can you get 8-bedroom houses? Do they work as service accommodation? Yes. So would it be, given that we're sat in more than an acre of ground here, would it be kind of nuts if we said, no, you can't bring your dog? We've got dogs. We've got a dedicated dog run at the back. Our dogs actually don't come into the house, they sleep in the garage, but that's by the by. If somebody's a dog lover, they're going to want to bring their dog. But here's the thing that most people don't get. If people bring a dog, you can charge them for an extra guest. It's a dog. You can charge them for a deep clean afterwards, they don't mind. You could charge them an extra 50, well, probably a house this big, you'd charge them even more than that. But you charge them not only for the extra person, for the dog, but you actually charge them an extra 50, 60 quid for a deep clean when they go. They completely get that not everybody loves the idea of having dog hairs and whatever. So at the end of the day, service accommodation is a business, it's not your house. Far too many people make decisions about what they're going to do or not do in their service accommodation business based on their personal preferences and their personal biases. So consider, allowing pets, allowing dogs to come into your service department, which could be a flat, could be a house, could be a castle, could be almost anything. So that's tip number 2. Think about allowing pets. I'm going to give you some homework to do very, very shortly because we're coming towards the end of this video now. So, you remember the 80-20 rule, you remember business travel ready, and you remember pets. So these are the key points that you need to be writing down and taking away and doing some homework on. Okay, so the final top tip I'm going to give you for increasing the level of service is meet and greet. So what's meet and greet? Well, meet and greet is when you meet the person, you know, at the front door over there. You're inside, they arrive, they draw up in the car, you welcome them in, you show them all around the house, you show them how the heating works, you show them how the TV works, you just give them a tour of the house and tell them where all the switches are. That's fantastic, and it takes 15 minutes, half an hour of your time. Now, if you can afford to do that, because you know, maybe you're retired, or maybe you're actually doing service accommodation in the house next door, so it's no problem just to pop next door. But very often, meet and greet is a very, very labour intensive thing, because imagine someone's coming to stay with us in this house here, and they're travelling up the M6 and they have a puncture, then it all gets late, and then the kids are arguing and they have to stop and they turn up 4 hours late. I don't want to be sat there for 4 hours waiting for them. It's not their fault, but you know, all due respect, I ain't going to sit there all afternoon because you know, they haven't been able to honour their commitments and arrive at a specific time. So the challenge with meet and greet is very often that the time of arrival is by necessity a bit approximate, depends on traffic, delayed flights, you know, whatever. So I'm going to give you a way in which you can do meet and greet and give a lot of the benefits of the in-person greeting, but for a flat fee of, just wait for it, £12 a month. How on earth can you hand somebody the keys, give them information about the property, take deposits if you want to, take copies of their driver's license or their passport or whatever else some people like to do for £12 a week? It's as simple as this. Write this down. Key nest. Key as in door key, nest as in bird's nest. Key nest. So for just £12 a month, a key nest provider will hold your keys at their local shop or petrol station or restaurant, and they will deal with that first level of guest inquiries, which is a hell of a way towards the benefits of meet and greet. So we are moving towards the end of this short video now, so I'm going to work with you next in terms of the homework, the tasks that I'd like you to get done before the next video in this series. Okay, finally for this video, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things that I think will really help you to establish if service accommodation is for you and it's the right strategy for your area. And then I'm going to tell you what the next video, I'm going to give you a little introduction to what the next video is going to be about. So, some simple things that I'd like you to do. I'd like you to get yourself onto booking.com and Airbnb in your area, and I want you to find similar properties to the property that you're thinking of. This is going to be my first service accommodation unit. So it could be a 2-bedroom flat, it could be a 3-bedroom house. It doesn't matter to me what it is, but just get onto booking.com, put your town or city in the search box, and then say that you're looking to sleep 6 people or whatever it is, and see how many properties come up, and then go through those properties and find similar properties to yours. And I want you to make a note of the price per night that they're charging. Could be 70 quid, could be 170 quid, so whatever it is. So make a note of the typical prices that are getting charged on booking.com and Airbnb in your area. But please, specifically, go for the high service ones, the high rated ones. So make sure if you're comparing that on booking.com, it's got at least 7.5 out of 10, because 7.5 and better out of 10 on booking.com as a review score is considered good. And make sure if it's on Airbnb, it's at least 4 out of 5. So similar properties to yours, but with good reviews. So that makes a hell of a difference to the price that you can charge. So make a note of that number, and now multiply that number by 24. Why do I want you to multiply it by 24? That's a funny number. Well, that's equivalent to a full month, but at 80% occupancy. So 80% is a typical occupancy level. So don't go multiplying it by 30. Multiply the number that so if it's £100 or £200, if it's £200, 200 times 24 is £4,800. So that would be a realistic expectation if your property is similar to one that's going out at £200 a night by the time you've multiplied it by 24. So that will give you a good feel for what your likely income level is with your very first service accommodation unit, okay? So I hope that's nice and clear for you. The next thing I want you to do is take a look at how many properties in your area accept dogs. And there's a search button you can put for that. It's called Refined Search, so you can just click around in the boxes there and you can just search for properties that accept pets. Now my bet is going to be this. My bet is there's not going to be very many. And my second bet is that those that do are going to be full up all the time and they're going to be charging more money. So research booking.com, Airbnb, how much for a similar property, making sure it's got good reviews. Next job, go and have a look and see whether they accept pets or not. And if they accept pets, does that make any difference to the rates that they charge? Okay, so that's it today in terms of content. Just want to give you a little sneak peek in terms of what's coming in the next video. In the next video, I'm going to be sharing systems with you to allow you've possibly heard of the book, The 4-Hour Work Week. So, I'm not going to talk about the book in any way, shape or form other than I'm going to be sharing systems with you such that you can run your very first service accommodation unit in a 4-hour serviced accommodation work week. So if you like the idea of an extra £1,000 a month profit for every single service accommodation unit, but let's just focus on your first one. So let's quickly get you to an extra £1,000 per month from a property that you own or you don't own by using the systems in the very next video. Okay, you've been wonderful. I've been Paul. See you next time.